All right, y'all know what time it is. Fuck PSA coming straight from the underground. How many times I gotta tell y'all that PSA sucks ass? They're at it again. They just raised their prices again for what, like the fourth time in less than a year? They deleted the old bulk grading tier and are basically just telling like the regular collector or regular person who wants to get grading done, if you ain't got money, you can go ahead and get fucked. And it's crazy because they said the quiet part out loud. They're not even hiding it. They got to raise prices so they can slow demand. And if you're new to grading, everybody's pissed off right now at PSA. Rightfully so. PSA sucks. But like I was saying, if you're new to grading, PSA has deleted, canceled, ended their bulk grading tier, which is like the lowest tier, where you were able to send cards in for, it was like $18.99, so $19 per card, and it had supposedly like a 45-day turnaround. I sent cards in, it was supposed to be a 45-day turnaround. That shit came back in like fucking 4 months. That's besides the point. So this bulk grading or bulk submission tier it's basically like an in for the regular collector. You could grab a whole stack of cards, a whole stack of bulk. I mean, you could send anything, but like a lot of people are sending in like new promos or celebrations cards that are popping off, or just like random bulk cards that are starting to pop off in the market or have like low pop or whatever. But the bulk tier was good for like the regular collector because it was a cheaper way to get like your lower tier cards graded and put in a slab and protected without like paying a fortune for grading fees, or like cards that you wanted graded but you don't really care about like the turnaround time, so you could just grab a whole stack, send them all off, and then like you'd get them back whenever. And then once you got them back, if you wanted to keep them for your collection, like obviously you could, or like what other people, including myself, would do is like you grade all of those like promos or Cosmos promos or newer promos or cards that are like popping off in the market. And then once you get the slab back, trade them towards like a sealed booster box that you wanted, or trade it towards another like bigger slab that you wanted. I use them as like trade bait for vendor shows, or post them on Facebook, or take them to my local card store. You could send your cards off for grading for like cheap-ish, like a decent price. And you could use those to trade up and like build up your collection. I know like a lot of people that aren't like these big PokeTubers or people or fucking investors and shit that have like a fuckload of money, use this tier as like a big source of like trading up in your collection or like leveling up your collection. And so that's really shitty for us regular collectors to take that tier away, and now you have to pay like fucking $24.99 to get any card graded, which like really adds up if you're sending in a whole stack of cards. Like this changes who even gets to participate in grading. So what they did is they completely removed that bulk tier option that used to cost $19. And so now the lowest bulk tier option is $25 a card with a 20 card minimum. So if you want to send any cards in at the lowest tier, you got to spend $500 because you got to send 20 cards in at $25 a piece. And they also up the prices on their other grading services too. And so PSA's excuse, their argument is, we're getting slammed, demand is insane, and if we don't raise our prices, then the turnaround times are going to get even worse. They're going to go from 4 months to 3 years. Like, God damn, PSA, get your shit together. And so they're saying that pricing is how they're going to control the line, because they don't want to push turnarounds even further back, and they don't want to overhire and outweigh demand. So I'll give them that, because like submissions are obviously outrunning their abilities. So they either gotta like raise prices, make people wait for fucking ever, even longer than they already are, or hire a fuckload of people, which like would be nice, but also then we're gonna risk even more quality control issues than PSA already has. So like I get it, but because of how everyone sucks PSA off, they're like not just a grading company anymore. PSA, especially at like these card shows and shit, is like the default currency for Pokemon. Half the vendors will only take PSA or only sell PSA. So with PSA raising their prices, it's not just like a normal business raising their prices a little bit. Like people throughout the hobby are gonna feel it, especially the normal collectors. Because grading was already pretty expensive, and now you gotta pay even more for grading. It's like grading is gonna become a rich person activity. It's like yacht parties. You only get to grade with PSA if you're a rich motherfucker. It may help like raw card prices, possibly. Like cards are gonna stay raw for longer, stay without grading for longer because it costs more and not everyone can afford grading. And people are probably going to stop sending in their like lower and mid-tier cards just because like with the price hikes and like the risk of you not getting a PSA 10, like it might not be worth it to grade anymore, especially for like lower and mid-tier cards where like maybe you were only going to make like 10-20 bucks after grading, but then you subtract like another $5 from that, and like to me, not worth it for sure. The only stuff worth submitting is just going to be like the big hits, and that's going to fuck up like a whole vibe of grading. And like I said, this isn't going to hurt the people with money in this hobby. This isn't going to hurt the whales with hundreds of thousands of dollars that are able to now buy out all of your raw cards because you can't afford the grading, and then they'll buy them all out, send them off to grading, and then hike up the price. This is hurting regular collectors like you and me, who like maybe wanted to submit like 5 or 10 cards so you could hopefully hit a PSA 10 and then trade that towards like the next box you wanted to get, or trade those 5 cards towards like one of the bigger SIRs that you wanted. It's hurting the regular collectors who just wanted to have like their lower tier cards or mid tier cards for their personal collection and wanted to have those slabbed and protected so that way they don't get fucked up. Or people who wanted to have like slab binders. And like I said, hurting the people who use grading to trade up slowly into stuff that they actually want. And for the longest time, nobody talked about it, but I feel like people are finally starting to come to the conclusion. PSA is able to do this because they are and continue to be like the default, like I said, like the default currency for Pokemon at these like vendor shows and card stores and Facebook Marketplace. Like unfortunately, their slabs are the most liquid. As many problems as they had, as many fuck ups as they've had, they are still the most liquid. And they've been around for the longest. People can complain all day, but as long as it still sells the easiest or trades the fastest and it's been around forever so people trust it the most, like PSA has pricing power. They can do whatever the fuck they want, apparently. And you already know where I'm going with this video. We're here to talk about tag, baby. And a lot more people have been talking about tag lately. Finally got my boy Henry from Henry's Poke Corner. Shout out to the homie. Finally got him warming up to the idea of grading with tag. Join the Discord, link in bio. Because if you're an actual collector and you're not just grading the cards to quick flip them, like if you want clean slabs, consistency, like consistent presentation, consistent grading, and you want actual reports and the scans to show you like exactly why your card got graded the way it did. And like I said, like you're grading because you're a collector, you're grading these cards for your personal collection to keep, for you to look at, for you to enjoy. I'm not discounting tag as like only to grade for your personal collection. Because like I've been saying, and I'm going to make a video on it at some point, tag slabs, depending on where you're selling them, are extremely liquid. Like tag has an official Facebook group, and the amount of buying and selling that goes on that page where like all of the sales are just completely untracked is insane. I have notifications and constantly keep an eye on that Facebook page because like people list up a slab that I wanted on there and it'll be gone within like a couple minutes, if not seconds. Like tag is starting to look real good, and not just to me, to a lot of the other PokeTubers and bigger collectors that I know, and they've still got a bulk tier. It's no limit to a certain amount of cards. You can send in as many cards or as little cards as you want for $19 a card, and you get it in the nice ass tag slab. I think it's like a 40-day return right now. Plus, you still get the scans and the images and full dig report for exactly why your card got the grade that it did. And yes, for all the PSA pussies out there, PSA still has the advantage on liquidity. I'm not arguing that. Like PSA is the best if you want max liquidity and you want the fastest sale and easy comps, because like PSA sells on all of the platforms all the time. And tag is best if you want like if you want the cleanest looking slab in all of grading. You want the report on exactly why your card got the grade that it did, and you're not necessarily worried about liquidity, because like I said, like the big hits sell instantly and will sell on the Facebook group and will sell like over half the time for more than what the PSA value is. And PSA market value is based around like what the slab sells for on eBay. So then like eBay is taking their 15%. And these tag slabs that I'm seeing for big hits are selling for over PSA market value, and they're selling on Facebook, probably through PayPal Goods and Services. So then you're only paying a 3% fee versus a 15%. So 99% of the time, even if it sold for right under PSA market value, you're making more money because you're only paying like the 3% for PayPal Goods and Services versus the 15% to fucking eBay. If you're grading and you want to flip the slabs instantly, as long as you got big hits and you're not grading like low tier cards anymore, because no bulk tier, fuck that. Like PSA still makes the most sense if you want like instant liquidity and you don't really care how much percent you're going to lose off of it. But especially if you're grading because you actually like the card and you actually like the way it looks in a slab, like go with tag 110% of the time. I guess this is fine because PSA is just basically doing free marketing for tag and every other grading company. Every time they fuck us and jack their prices up, they're just pushing more collectors to grade with somebody else. And I'm telling you, if you start building a personal collection with tag slabs, you ain't ever going back. I only grade my personal collection with tag. I'll crack a card out of a PSA 10 all fucking day to put it in a tag slab. But if you are just a normal collector, and no matter what grading company you're using, but especially if you're still trying to use PSA for whatever fucking reason, you're gonna have to pre-grade harder. Probably shouldn't send in those like, ooh, could be a 10 with the price hikes. It probably just doesn't make sense anymore. And if you're building a personal collection, because now even getting your personal collection graded is way more fucking expensive, you should probably consider switching away from PSA. Who knows when they're going to do another price hike? Like, they're raising the prices every couple months. But the real question that I'm asking, like, I know PSA is getting slammed and they're getting a lot of submissions, but they're also making millions of fucking dollars. And they know that they have the most liquid slabs and they've been around the longest. Like, is PSA actually trying to protect quality? Are they really raising the prices just to like slow down demand? Or are they just pricing out the hobby because they can and they know they can do whatever the fuck they want? They've been raising their prices a whole lot lately. Let me know in the comments, are you still sending to PSA after this? And if so, stop it. Get some help. Send your cards to tag. Send your cards to tag. It makes the most sense. They're the best bet for the future of grading, I'm telling you. Their slabs look the best. Don't you want to know why the fuck your card got graded the way it did? And their slabs look the best. PSA looks like shit. Fuck PSA.